I have no idea why it made him look like a stripper version of Woody from Toy Story.
Oh, the lost toy.
Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to Genealogy. Hello there, my YouTube minions. It is I, your unfriendly neighborhood Skeletor. Once again, I, Skeletor, am going to see what a quote-unquote artificial art program redesigns the characters from the 1980s cartoon Silverhawks.
Well, you certainly took your time.
Now, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of you out there who are not children of the 80s going, what the hell is a Silverhawk?
Yes,
Well, to put it bluntly, for the noobs, let's just consider the Silverhawks the kid brother of the Thundercats.
No.
In other words, the creators of the Thundercats said, people sure really do like our show, maybe we should do another one just like it. Instead of cats, we're going to make them hawks. And instead of a planet, we're going to put it in space. And that's exactly what they did.
Not sure I get your drift.
They even used the same actors,
I'm surprised. I don't know what you're playing at.
practically the same villain. Monstar is just a metallic mumra.
Moonstar of Limbo, transform this decayed form to the Moonstar! How can it be? You'll pay for that!
And then after the success of that, they said, well, let's do this again. Only let's make them sharks and put them in the ocean and created the Tiger Sharks.
And they thought they were going to get away with it.
A show in which I personally didn't really watch, but I did watch Silverhawks. And despite my cynicism towards them in the beginning, I actually really did like the show.
I liked it.
And while they were similar to the Thundercats in a lot of ways, I think it was individual enough that it actually was, in and of itself, a really good show.
You can say that again.
Anyway, enough of this blathering.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Let's do this thing, shall we? Alright, now before we start, I just would like to remind you all, like before, if you stick to the very end, as a reward, you'll get to see some images that didn't quite make the cut, as well as, you know, what I, Skeletor, and He-Man would look like if we were Silverhawks. Anyway, let's start this. Alright, now the first character that I'm going to show you is Silverhawks' equivalent to Wile E. Cat, if he spoke like a burble.
Uh-huh. Herbal, durbly, burble, herbal. Who cares?
The Copper Kid.
Copper Kid, release!
Now, the Copper Kid was one of the hardest ones I had to do. Now, this was my first attempt here, and actually, it wasn't that bad. I mean, it's got a lot of the elements of Copper Kid, except for the face, which was really the hardest thing I had to do, because he didn't look like a normal human. In fact, he came from a planet called Mime or something. I don't remember. I think it was the Mime planet or a planet called Mime.
From the planet of the mimes, huh?
Horrible planet to visit. A planet where people just pretending to do things. How obnoxious would that planet be in reality?
It's a Mr. Mime. They're the worst. Silent but annoying.
And then you can see I tried to make the blue face here. It didn't look much like a mime. It looked more like that PSA character from the 80s. Remember that one, that robot? The one that said, I can put my arms back on. You can't.
I am Astar, a robot. I can put my arm back on. You can't. So play safe.
Remember that one? That's what this kind of reminded me of. So this was my first attempt. Now the next one, I really wanted to start focusing in on the mime aspect of it. So I actually typed in the computer, make him look like a mime. And, of course, I got this right here. As we can all see, AI loves to take things incredibly literal. This character looks like he belongs on the Cirque du Soleil.
You people are a circus.
Next one here I actually nailed. I really like this one. His weapon looks more like a disc. Although it's a bit awkward here, the way it's designed. His face looks a lot better. As you can see, it looks a lot more like the Copper Kid. He's got that pointed head here. But all in all, I actually think it looked pretty good. Now this is what it would look like with his visor down. which is another thing I had a hard time with, these visors. But this one was the best visor I could do. It actually looked pretty good. I had a hard time getting the visor to look good and put the cone head as he has. I don't know why they gave him an Iron Man chest here. And yes, people are going to start saying, hey, Skeletor, the Silverhawks didn't actually have hawk wings. And I know that. They have more like the wings that extend past the arm. Like this image here. But trust me, I tried and I tried everything I could say or do. It just could not figure this out at all. I even tried like armpit wings, unfoldable curtains coming out of the arms. I tried every little possible way they could do it. And I just couldn't get it right. At some point I just gave up and said, all right, regular hawk wings it is. Maybe it always should have been hawk wings.
Yes.
Anyway, this is my copper kid.
The kid is okay.
All right, my next character, Hot Wing.
Hot Wing race too. Come in. Power Wings. Oh.
Squadron Leader Hot Wing, sir. I'll give it my best shot.
I'm just going to put this one out there. Whenever I type in a character, and the AI has a hard time figuring out what I'm talking about, sometimes I'll type in the character's name, but I will never write the character's name directly. It's always in the style of this character. I don't always do it, but I do it when I'm having a hard time. And since I had a little bit of a hard time with the wings, I typed up in the style of Hot Wing. And I came up with this one here.
Looks like I've found the scene of the crime.
Now, for those of you who's going to say, Skeletor, that's racist.
God damn, that was racist.
Of course you make the black character eating fried chicken. No, Skeletor did not do that. I just typed up Hot Wings, and this is what I got.
How did he know that I was going to get some chicken?
Keep in mind, AI had no idea what Silverhawks even were. So when you say hot wing, this is the only thing the AI recognizes as a hot wing. So if you guys think I'm racist for this picture, think again. This has all to do with the name. And if somebody is racist, blame the creators of this character for calling him hot wing in the first place.
All these years, I thought I liked chicken because it was delicious. Turns out I'm genetically predisposed to liking chicken.
But other than that really tasty buffalo wing there, I actually thought this wasn't a bad first attempt. I think after I film this, I may actually go get some hot wings.
Couldn't take his own medicine, I guess.
I got ruined chicken for me.
So then I got rid of the name Hot Wing, and I just described it straight out, and I got this one here. Which, you know what, I actually really liked.
Magic.
This was probably my favorite one. The only problem with this was the ears. It just did not give him the elf ears that I had asked.
Nope.
I said put flames on his leg and arm, and it just put the flames on the wing. Again, AI does what AI wants to do.
No can do.
But I actually really liked this one.
Next.
But the last one here was probably the best one,
We'll see about that.
because it gave him the pointy ears here.
Runs in the family.
They didn't give him a gold crown, but they did kind of give him a gold sort of headgear here. His eyes look a little possessed. Maybe he went into avatar mode, I don't know. And him, of course, with his face mask. Again, pretty cool.
Muscles are marvelous.
The flames coming out of the wings as per usual. Flames on the hand. Visor looked pretty cool. It has this weird sort of bird-like tail coming down. Not a deal breaker.
Sure.
Anyway, this is my favorite hot wing with the visor.
If I were you, I'd beat it.
Now my next character is one of the twins, and that is Steel Will.
Now with Steel Will.
Steel Will with Stronghold, sold separately. Silverhawks.
Let's give it a shot.
Now, you see, that's a horrible first attempt. I did say steel metal hair, and it just kept coloring the hair gray. I don't understand it. Rarely did they ever actually give you steel hair. And if they gave you the steel hair, then they would mess up somewhere else.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Another thing I had a problem with was the arms. As you can see, it was a bear arm, and I'm just glad they didn't give him a bear arm. Look up a bear.
Every American has the right to hang a pair of bear arms on their wall.
But they decided, let's make it gold for whatever reason. Again, not a horrible first attempt.
It's no good.
Next one here I actually really liked, except for his face, it looked like he belonged on some kind of GQ magazine.
You mean you can do all that?
Probably selling Rolex watches, as you can see by his Rolex watch that they gave him.
What happened?
The rest of them look pretty standard for a Silverhawk. You know, the wings here, again, we all know about the wings. Other than the fact that he looked like a model for Rolex watches, I thought it was pretty good.
Take it up around the dark side and see what we can see.
Now, this is where Steel Will gets a little tricky. As we all know, the character is very football-centric. His nickname is Coach. Half his dialogue is football puns. puns.
Hunt.
Or steeped in football symbology.
Guess this calls for teamwork.
And so his helmet reflects the fact that he's a football player.
The ultimate linebacker.
Now I say that because while I do know that AI does have its quirks when it comes to what information it absorbs and what it doesn't, despite all that, I still can't explain how the hell it came up with this next image here.
Trouble ahead.
Now I, Skeletor, don't know much about American football. However, I do know enough to know that whatever you see here has very little to do with football, unless I'm mistaken.
Now I'll tell you, that doesn't make a lick of sense.
I mean, what the hell is this abomination? It's like a Frankenstein's monster version of a Silverhawk.
Looks like we fumbled.
Can somebody explain why when I said give him a football helmet, did they give him this here? I mean, he's holding a football helmet, but I never said make him the poster child for Trojan condoms.
Trojan man.
What the is this piece of shit?
Destroy them.
Maybe when I said Steel Will, the AI heard Steel Willie.
Think he's trying to say penal, sis.
What a way to treat the loyal fans.
Anyway, this nightmare fuel aside, I think I did eventually get it right with my last one here. You know, I actually really like this one. You can see it's got the football helmet there. They made him a lot more butch, which is what the character is.
Getting close.
Now his face, it doesn't exactly have the face guard the way Will's does, but I actually kind of like this better. And, you know, he's not wearing a Rolex watch or pimping out Fruit of the Loom underwear.
Follow the bouncing ball.
Anyway, that was Steel Will.
Look at that old boy go.
Now for his twin sister, Steel Heart.
I've got Steelheart and Razor. No way.
Care to join me?
And yes, she could steal my heart.
Let's, skip dessert.
Especially with this first image here. Now, every time I design a female character, I cannot emphasize anything sexual at all. I can't type in the word breast. I can't type in the word cleavage. I can't even type in the word bare anything, bare wrist. But for some reason, when you do, you know, navigate through the AI censorship blockades they put there, I come up with something like steel pants, steel colored top. They themselves decide to do this.
That's my body.
This is what they give you, and then I ask myself, who is the true pervert here?
Well, so how do we... Just pound on my crotch with this ball peen hammer.
Is it us, or is it the AI?
You are.
Not that I'm complaining, mind you. Like I said, this picture really could steal my heart. But again, not accurate to Steelheart herself.
Sorry, boys.
So, of course, my next image, you know, looked a lot better.
How'd you do that?
Ladies out there, I have no idea what you call this hairstyle. I tried different ways to get this hairstyle here. At the end, I just said short hair. So I just kept it simple. Other than that, I actually really like this one. This was the best Steelheart without the mask I could do.
We won't give up.
Now, this is where it got a little tricky, because all the visors had a hard time. It's really hard to find the accurate prompts to use to get the visors to look exactly the way you want it to look.
Very precise.
They kind of have like, you know, a Boba Fett sort of look to them.
Sure.
And so I typed Boba Fett inspired visor.
You just had the best idea of your life.
And let's just say it did not work.
No!
As you can see, with this image here,
failed.
Now looks less like Boba Fett and more like the Mandalorian or the Mam-Dalorian.
Mandal, shoot it!
Worse than that.
I don't think I have to describe exactly what's wrong with this image here. All I know is this is not the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Looks like we lost this round.
Anyway, in the end, I think I did a pretty decent job, as I got this one here.
You got it.
My only complaint with this one is the hair. Again, not exactly made of metal, but close enough in my opinion. I thought the visor looked pretty good.
He's right.
And you know what? She still looks feminine, but yet still looks like a badass warrior.
I didn't take basic training for nothing.
But I'm all woman.
Anyway, that there is Steelheart.
I owe you.
Now for my first villain. And unlike the Thundercats, let's be honest, there aren't many villains that most people remember, except for maybe hardcore Silverhawk fans, but I decided to pick the ones that I personally like the best. So my first villain is another female, Melodia.
Melodia?
Welcome! Go for it!
Now, Melodia wasn't actually hard at all. All I had to do was put 80s punk rocker with green hair, you know, black short dress, red nylons, and some punk glasses, and, you know, they pretty much got it.
That was hard!
I mean, it's not exact, the glasses aren't exact, but the gist is there. Melodia always reminded me of a much cooler version of Jem and the Holograms.
And I blew him right out of it!
Actually, more like pizzazz than Jem,
We could all use a good laugh.
who I always liked better than Jem, mostly because she was evil.
I'll show her! What's this?
And I'm more partial to the evil characters.
There is nothing I like better.
The one problem I had with this was, again, I chucked this one up to AI tomfoolery. Why it decided to place a microphone right here?
No.
I have absolutely no idea. Not that she's complaining, mind you, because I'm pretty sure she's having a great old time.
My pleasure!
I have a hard time believing this would be very comfortable during a concert.
I'm gonna rock you now like it's never been rocked before!
And I really have to question what kind of sound she'd have to amplify for her to put a microphone, in a crotchal area.
Melodia's siren song!
She quiffed right in my face.
But I'll leave that up to your imagination. Needless to say, that wasn't the perfect one. So I came up with this one here, and I actually really like this one.
What?
Again, the hair, not perfect, but pretty good. Similar kind of glasses. And I wasn't too crazy about her outfit in this one. She looked too much like Cyndi Lauper for my taste.
That's right.
Get me out of here!
Not that I have anything wrong with Cyndi Lauper, I actually kind of like her. However, I don't think this girl was having as much fun as Cyndi Lauper was.
I'll play him a tune he'll never forget!
And I also wanted to try to get a guitar that shot lasers out of it. So that's why I came up with this last one here. And I think this one was the best one. You got the guitar here that also has sort of a cannon thing and lasers coming out of it. Again, hair, similar, glasses, similar. But I really think her outfit matches that outfit a lot better. Shoulders aren't exactly the right color, but as close as you can get with AI.
How's that for a smash hit?
And so, there you have it. The best Melodia that I was able to coax the AI into doing.
You don't escape that easy!
So that brings me to my next hero, and probably my favorite of the Silverhawks, and that is Bluegrass.
Bluegrass. Diamond and Quicksilver.
Time to join the party.
The cowboy of the group. Now, for my first image here, as you can see, not exactly accurate.
I don't like this.
Yes, he's got the hat here, but as we can obviously see, there's a lot wrong with this image.
A cheap piece of tin.
I have no idea why it made him look like a stripper version of Woody from Toy Story.
Oh, the lost toy.
I mean, look at him. Doesn't his face look like Woody?
What are you talking about?
Except for this Woody has an even bigger snake not in his boot.
I get it. There's a snake in my boot.
One might even say it's to infinity and beyond.
You are a sad, strange little man.
Anyway, needless to say, this one is far from accurate.
You are a plaything!
I'll take a whack at it if you tell me how.
So, I came up with this one here, which I thought, was a lot better.
You got it.
I gave him the red kerchief. His hat looks a lot less like Woody's hat. Nice swings. He's got that blue tint. The wrists aren't exactly perfect, but pretty good.
Piece of cakes.
My biggest problem with this image, however, was his guitar. It just didn't look as punk rocky as it should, in my opinion.
What happened?
And so, I came up with this one here, which I thought was the best one I could do.
Way to go.
It had some weird things about it, like the shoulder here, which I have no idea why.
Uh-oh.
But it wasn't a deal breaker for me, because I really liked this guitar.
That's sweet music.
Unfortunately, I couldn't get it to give him the sleeves like that, but that's not the biggest deal here. And it did give him the more metallic part of the side of his head, which was a hard thing to do. And I didn't much care for the glowing eyes, but again, not a deal breaker.
Looks like we're a hit, Hot Licks.
Anyway, this here was my Bluegrass.
Oh, shucks. Just naturally talented.
Now for my next villain, Hardware.
It's evil hardware and he's unarmed. No, I'm not. Fire!
Me? Well, I've got to keep my eyes peeled.
Now, Hardware really was a pretty hard one to do, as I really had a hard time trying to describe him to the AI. He's like part troll, part frog, part human with weird hair. It was extremely difficult, as you can see by my first image here. I mean, look at this thing. It looks less like Hardware and more like that fool who lives in a van down by the river.
In a van down by the river!
Except for with red hair and a really mean scowl on his face, like he hasn't gone gone to the washroom for a really long time. And the body's not horrible, the gun looks alright, but obviously not hardware.
Well, that and a nickel get you a hot cup of jack squat.
Now the second one here, I thought was a whole lot better.
Want to bet?
The face was a lot better. The backpack looked a lot more like hardware's backpack. And actually, I thought, for the most part, the feet, the arms weren't horrible. My biggest issue with this one, aside from his long, lustrous hair, he looks like a troll version of Bon Jovi.
I don't know what that thing is.
But my biggest issue, aside from the hair, this round little pot belly thing he's got here.
Good Lord! In the name of all that's sacred?
Now keep in mind, I never told the AI to make him fat. That was not one of my prompts. What I said was short and stocky, and maybe a little stubby as well. Never said give him a round pot belly poking out of his shirt.
Big mistake. Big mistake.
He looks less like hardware and more like software. But my last one, for me, was my favorite one. He's a lot shorter and stockier.
That's the one we want.
And less portly, which is more true to the character. He was just short and wide and stocky. He wasn't exactly fat.
You did your best.
His face looks more troll-like, which I like. His hair's not quite as long. His toes are actually what I really like, because he actually has 3 toes on each foot. His hands do look huge, but you know what they say about guys with big hands? They can hold bigger guns. Aside from the fact that his backpack looks like he's on his way to the 3rd grade, this is where he keeps his pencils, his erasers. Over here, he's got his snack pack that his mom packed for him.
It was snack pack pudding, all right.
Bet that snack pack's pretty good.
Maybe this is hardware in the 3rd grade, I don't know. Anyway, this one here is my favorite version of hardware that I was able to do.
It's getting the sack.
Next on my list is, of course, the leader of the Silverhawks, Quicksilver.
Condor and Quicksilver test the new Sprint Hawk.
Activate Power Wing. Tallyhawk, let's get her.
Quicksilver with Tallyhawk.
Silverhawk, codename Quicksilver.
Now, Quicksilver wasn't the hardest to do. He was the least dynamic of the characters. He didn't have anything special on him like a hat or a guitar or anything like that. The only issue I had with Quicksilver was, making his hair look right. And of course the wings.
Okay, showtime.
This was still the first Quicksilver I was able to do. And yes, it looks absolutely horrible.
You got it all wrong.
If you ever wanted to know what Brock Lesnar would look like playing Quicksilver, well, there you go.
That's the best of the best of the best of the best of the best.
Wrong.
Another weird thing about this image was that little outie belly button thing they put on him. Huh. I don't know why they did that, and nor do I understand why they gave him scissor hands.
Shoot. Oh, rock beats scissors.
I know there's not actually scissors, but it's just bizarre.
I suggest you forget you ever saw me.
But it didn't actually take too long for me to get this one right. Really, the only complicated thing about him was getting him to have that bare wrist and a gold bracelet on the other side, which you could see has there. You got this bare wrist and a gold bracelet.
Nice work.
This image, of course, I decided to include his trusty bird, Tallyhawk.
Follow him, Tallyhawk.
Who was a prominent character in the cartoon, so I believe he deserved to be represented here. I'm still a little bit upset that I couldn't get the hair to be actually metal.
Take it easy.
Other than that, I thought it was pretty cool.
Are you okay?
So this next one, however, I actually managed to get mostly right. As you can see here, I actually managed to get the silver hair this time.
About time.
It's not Quicksilver's exact hairstyle, but like I said, beggars can't be choosers.
Yes,
I think his visor turned out pretty badass, and mostly accurate, to be honest.
Nice.
The wings, yes, again, what can you do? It is what it is. His body doesn't have a weird outie belly button thing happening, nor is he wearing weird Hanes underwear for no reason.
No.
My biggest concern is anytime you deal with AI, it's mostly you win some, you lose some. I won the hairstyle, I lost the bare forearm.
I guess what we have here is a limbo standoff.
But again, not without some weird AI tomfoolery, and you get some weird spike thing happening on his wrist.
What?
Which again, the character did not have, and I did not ask for either. But, such is my endless battle with He-Man. Unfortunately, I can't get everything I want.
You can say that again.
And here's just another version of Tallyhawk. that I really liked.
You got it.
Again, Quicksilver looks okay here. Hair's not right, but I do like Tallyhawk in this.
That's some bird.
Is it wrong of me to hope that Tallyhawk takes a silver poop on his shoulder?
Don't even think about it.
Take that, you silver boob.
You're stirring up trouble.
I wonder if their excrement is partly metal and partly real. Probably wouldn't smell as bad, but extremely hard to flush. Silver boobs.
Ready to release?
Now for my favorite moment, and that is the final boss. And in the Silverhawks universe, the big boss is Monster.
It's me, Evil Monstar.
Monstar and Sky Shadow attack the Silverhawk.
Do it now.
Now, I actually really liked the design for Monstar. Well, the Monstar before he became the big giant iron monster, I thought he was extremely horrifying and menacing. I actually liked his design a lot better than Mumra.
No.
Now, my first attempt wasn't bad at all. Actually, kind of terrifying, to be honest.
Show it to me hard.
As you can see right here, this is a pretty terrifying creature.
What happened?
This looks like if Gary Busey played Monster.
Gary, it looks like you.
Well, thank you, dear.
Either that or animals from the Muppets. Look at him.
Oh, yeah.
Those teeth are extremely horrifying.
Oh, yeah.
They put this weird star here on his chest. I mean, I never said put a star on his chest. I only said put a star on his eye patch. But, you know, AI does whatever AI wants.
Corrected.
Come to think of it, this is actually more like as if Gary Busey played Captain America.
I can see fart gas. A lot of people can't, but I can.
Damn it.
How am I doing today, Gary Busey? You're doing great. Good.
Anyway, that was my first attempt. But I actually think I nailed it with the next one here. You can see he looks just as menacing as the other one.
Yes.
But I really like the hair a lot more. I like his eye patch a lot better. He doesn't have the star on the eye patch. They put the star here on his chest. Aesthetically, I actually kind of liked it better. I didn't say put all this spiky stuff on top of him.
Enough of your failure.
But for some reason, I actually kind of liked it more with all this stuff. So while I don't think this is 100% accurate to the character,
You promised.
for me, I actually like this version better, in my opinion.
Nice work.
But of course, just like Mumra, Monstar here also has a very similar style transformation. Only instead of going from a decrepit old mummy to a muscular zombie creature, he turns into the Kiss Army's version of Iron Man. As you can see with this image here. Now, this one really wasn't that hard to do.
Surprise! Surprise!
And I actually thought this one was a pretty good version of Monstar's more powerful metallic form.
You are finished!
Anyway, there you have it. These are the Silverhawks, as redesigned by an artificial art program, as instructed by yours truly, Skeletor. Let me know in the comments what you wish Skeletor to do next. Now, before I get to the final images here, I'd like to take some time to do something that I, Skeletor, am kind of tormented with, but I have to do nonetheless. You see, our channel, Genealogy, has just reached 10,000. Actually, it surpassed 10,000. It's well on its way to probably 15. Now, unfortunately, I, Skeletor, am an evil villain. And because of this, your world's ethics decorum requires that I, Skeletor, make some kind of notion of gratitude to the viewers who have subbed and supported my channel. Which, of course, makes me as an evil villain have to vomit in my mouth, as I am required to be nice. And as you all know, I, Skeletor, hate being nice. But unfortunately, I must. So I, Skeletor, begrudgingly like to thank all of you. This world has really changed me, I have to say. Who would have thought that one day I, Skeletor, would be out there thanking my minions, even my YouTube one? Maybe it's because it's coming to the Christmas season. I don't know. I always get weird in Christmas.
I don't know what's coming over me.
Anyway, that being said, I, Skeletor, am grateful and thankful to all of you for your support to my channel and my cause to take over the world.
Don't worry, Skeletor. Christmas only comes once a year.
Anyway, it's enough of that. As a reward, as promised, here you go. Here are the images I promised. Those were hilarious. Anyway, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to Shady Holiday. Until next time.